Is it recording?
Yes.
It is. Alright, what's up everybody? My name is Darth Fall.
I'm just Josh.
And we are at school and there's people moving around and lots of yelling and hubbub, so you may hear some interference. We are sorry for that.
Might see some people too.
Yeah, might see some people. Might see some objects flying because shit's broken and people just want to break everything now. More, I guess. This is not the podcast. This isn't after the discovery. We wanted to have a couple of discussions about things that I don't really think fit the podcast too much.
Not really, no.
I mean, we could talk about them on the podcast, but we already run too goddamn long as it is.
We really do, and this doesn't really fall into either of the two categories we seem to focus on most, so...
Yeah, alright, so, the first thing I want to talk about, and actually really, I guess, the biggest thing, the first thing I want to say is Family Matters is terrible television. If you like it, unsubscribe right now. I fucking hate you. I hate your guts. I hate the show. God damn it. I'll do a commentary on it later. But I had an interesting discussion. I'm interning at a radio station right now. I had an interesting discussion with the dude that I'm interning with or whatever. He's over at the station running shit. I had a really interesting discussion with him. Yeah, hi person. But I had an interesting discussion with him over the Joe Paterno incident because, you know, Joe Paterno died at 80 goddamn it something over the weekend. Pretty
much.
He was really old, really frail, had like cancer or something. Yep. And he died. And
apparently he also led Penn State to more victories than any other coach they've had. Well, that's because he's older than the school.
Yeah, I mean he spent 60 years at that school.
So yeah.
Put that in perspective, I think my grandmother's only in her like mid-60s.
So yeah.
He spent my grandmother's lifetime coaching at this school. Like he like sat down and said, "Fuck it, I'm squatting."
John McCain looks at him and goes, "Shit."
Yeah, I know, right?
So yeah.
So that's the core
pretty much
thing. But I want to go back just, what was it, 6 months? Not even?
November.
So 3, maybe?
Yes.
Like being generous?
Pretty much.
He was implemented in a child abuse scandal. Now, he wasn't the one, you know...
doing it.
Yeah, he wasn't doing the little boys or whatever in the shower, but...
But he knew about it.
He knew about it, he caught somebody doing it, and he said he reported it, but he didn't really go very far with it.
No.
Which you would think if you caught someone doing that, you might actually follow up on it. But he didn't, and people were calling for his head, there were riots and whatever, and now suddenly he's on a pedestal next to Jesus because he's dead.
Pretty much. I think it just comes out of humanity's base fear to not insult the dead.
I think so, but I think it's kind of cool. I think the joke that I made, so now he's covering up for child molesters in heaven.
Pretty much.
I mean,
the Catholics love him up there.
I know.
So.
Yes, priest jokes. Oh, we are on fire this morning. I haven't slept yet. So that's the core of this. But we led into this argument that had to do with the coach that was involved in the molestation scandal thing. And what the takeaway that, or what my stance on it is, I want to get your opinion on it is, the dude that did it, yes, molesting children is wrong. We're going to set that as the base right now. That is an established
fact.
Well, we're going to go with an established opinion. Because people will argue it's good. Most of them child molesters and most of them douchebags, but they're going to argue it. But for all intents and purposes, child molesting equals bad. Okay. For this video.
For this to stand.
Yes, for this discussion. All right. I broke down the idea that first off, it's wrong to take away someone's accomplishments for one thing that they did that was wrong. Right. So the coach that was in trouble, very acclimated coach, very well decorated, lots of good things. You sports guys can tell me what they were. I don't know what they were. I just know that he was very well known. He did a lot of good shit. Right. I don't think it's wrong to take all that away from him and suddenly he's the scum of the earth because he did one bad thing, which I believe he actually even apologized for.
Yes, he did. He did come out, and say, yeah, I knew it was happening. I'm sorry, I didn't do anything about it.
I'm not talking about Joe. I'm talking about the person that was actually molesting the children.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so he actually did?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I think. I don't follow news.
I don't follow sports news because sports bore the fuck out of me. I don't get the point. Anyway, my first stance is it's wrong to take away someone's accomplishments for one bad thing. Right. You know, if Michael Jackson could be, even though he was acquitted, everyone still thinks he did it, but no one takes away his accomplishments from him. So why should you do it to someone else?
Right. And even more, this is something else, me and you could probably relate to more. Chris Benoit. Yeah. Hands down, there is 1,000% proof he killed his wife and his retarded son, and then hung himself. Yeah. And people want to treat him, like he's the worst person to ever live, when he was actually probably hands down one of the greatest mat-based wrestlers in the company.
Yeah, and the company that he worked for will not acknowledge his existence.
Right.
And I think that's heinous and bullshit.
I'm not saying go out, and glorify everything he did, but just to completely erase him off the map for one bad thing, that's not right.
That is completely wrong.
I'm not saying advertise him and do everything you can and blast his image everywhere, but and this is for Joe too.
Yeah.
If they did good, celebrate them for doing good, but don't have it everywhere. Out of respect for the people he did wrong too.
Yeah, like you can't do this for one entity and what?
I formed a coherent thought.
Yes, you did.
Holy shit!
You haven't slept either, have you?
No. And I'm on like 4 cups of coffee. That's why I'm vibrating.
Oh, okay. So you can't have like this double standard. Just should not exist. And that was one of the core tenets of my argument this morning. That apparently calls me to be an insensitive asshole.
Not really.
I mean, I'm not
I don't see it.
I'm not defending a child molester, but I'm saying, don't take away what good he did because of one bad thing.
Right, and like we said, he didn't do it. He just knew about it.
I'm not talking about Joe. I am talking about the coach that actually molested the children. What are you talking about?
I don't know. Again, no sleeping coffee.
Good point.
Hyper.
Yeah. But let's get on one other issue, and this is the issue of the actual child molestation.
Okay. Okay.
So, my argument was it was an irrelevant news story. It became a national headline. Everyone got in a tizzy over it. Everyone got mad. Everyone got angry. Everyone got their pitchforks and their torches and riots and things.
Yeah.
And it was none of our business.
Not really. I mean, outside of the Paterno, the coach that did it, the children, and then their families.
Yeah.
That's really all that should have known about this.
Yeah, them and law enforcement are the only people that had anything to do with this. They were the ones that, if anyone had rights to be angry, it was them.
Right.
Now, on top of that, I would argue that had this dude been just some random jackass who happened to molest 3 or 4 boys in a shower, it would have been a local news piece, and us in North Carolina would have never heard about it.
Right.
You, wherever you are, unless you live in that town, would have never fucking heard about it.
Pretty much anybody within 50 miles of Penn State, you guys would have heard about it. No one else would have even known who this was.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have heard about it for very long.
Maybe what, 2 days?
2 days, 2 days a week, 3 days a week, something like that. Like right after it happens, and then
maybe 4 if there's a trial.
Yeah, and I mean after the trial and the sentencing, whatever, you're gonna hear about it 6 months down the road, and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that dude did kind of rape those kids. Whatever. Yeah. You're gonna forget all about it, and it's gonna be completely irrelevant to you. And that's my core. That was the really core of my argument was things like that are irrelevant in the grand scheme. That's kind of how I look at things. Like the Jonathan at the station's argument was, well, if it was your kid or a kid that you knew, you would be angry about it. Well, yeah. That's my business, but it's not yours. Is the point of my argument? It's not anyone else's.
No.
So what I kind of want to say is, and like I said, I kind of want to get your thoughts on this, and I think you've done a pretty good job eloquating what you've accomplished to a step.
Wow, normally that's me.
I know.
We switched.
Yeah, you were on point last episode, and now I can't talk. Well, this is scary.
You're turning into me.
You're gonna start getting good grades soon.
It's about fucking time.
Anyway, from what you've been able to establish and what you've said, I think that we've kind of made the point here. The core point is, it's none of your business. Shut the fuck up. Joe's dead. It doesn't matter. Take him off his pedestal for, he's not Jesus-like. He did do something wrong. He also did a lot of good things right. Leave it be.
Pretty much, I'm a very firm believer in if you do right, you're celebrated.
Yeah.
If you do something wrong, you're punished.
Yeah.
Basically, he got punished for what he did wrong. He came out, he apologized. The media pretty much, skewered him.
Yeah.
And then that was it.
Yeah.
That was his punishment for that. It's over, people.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
No more. Stop blowing up my Twitter feed and my Yahoo with this shit. I don't care.
Yes. One more, as an addendum, completely off topic, well, sort of on topic, as for blowing up your feeds and your news lines, whatever. And I think I can speak for you about this, correct me if I'm wrong. If I gave a rat's ass about what happened in football, I would stop playing Halo and watch football.
Yeah, pretty much. At one point, I think I did stop playing, I watched a playoff game, I came back, and started playing again.
Yeah, see, I didn't do that because not a fuck was given. So
not a fuck was given, but I still watched it because there was free food.
Yeah, well, that's fair. So, if just stop blowing up Reddit and Twitter and Facebook with sports bullshit. If I want play-by-play, I'll watch the goddamn game.
Irritation.
Massively so. Do you want to know what the Super Bowl is for me? It's an excuse to go to someone else's house, eat all their food, drink all their booze, and not know what happened the next day.
You need a reason for that?
Well, it used to be called the weekend, and then I lost my job.
Still, you need a reason for that?
No, that's like I said. It used to be called. That used to just be a weekend. Then I lost my job. Now I need a reason.
I don't, and I lost my job 2 weeks ago.
All right, fair point. Anyway, so this has been, I guess, an after the Discovery, even though we haven't shot the Discovery yet.
No.
We're doing that tomorrow. I guess today, by the time you guys probably see this.
Yeah. So.
But want to thank you guys for watching. Be sure to spread the news, share the video with all your friends. My name is Darth Flaw.
I'm just Josh.
Peace, guys.
Later.
I got it. Click.